Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is the 49 Days of CBC, and yes, this is week 7. It's hard to believe that we've gone through almost 7 weeks of camp, well, without camp. And this lady that I have this morning is Michele Harris. And when I took over week 7 as a director, she made this job so much easier for me. She opened her heart, and that's about all I can say is I appreciate this woman so much, and thank you for your love for Carolina Bible Camp and your love for me and my family. It's just a blessing to have a sister like you in Christ that we get to work with 1 week out of a year, but it's like we're never apart. Just an important part of my family. And Miss Michele, how in the world are you?
I'm doing good. I'm missing being at camp and having that to look forward to this year. So.
Yeah. How when you found out about it, I know it was pretty hard on you, even though you weren't able to work with us this year, but it still hurt, didn't it?
It did. It did. I had a very sad moment. There were, I wasn't going to be able to be there, but I was still wanting to make sure my niece was there, and Megan, my daughter, was going to be there as a counselor. And so it was, we had a rough day that day. So
I bet you did.
It was hard.
Well, I'm glad you brought up your niece. Can you tell us a little bit about her? Because she stole the hearts of everybody.
Yes, she did. So Violet is my brother's daughter, and a lot of people know that my brother was killed in duty in 2017 as a police officer. And his daughter started coming to camp with me 2 years ago. This would have been her 3rd year at camp. And her first year, she was still a pre-camper, would still be a pre-camper this year even. But she fell in love with it. And every year, when do we get to go to camp, Aunt Michele? When is camp, Aunt Michele? And so I had to break the news to her that, we weren't going to have camp this year. But she was for weeks before we knew, I'm coming to North Carolina. And Violet lives in Louisiana. I'm coming. I want to go to camp. Hopefully this will be something has been instilled in her that we can do for years and years, and she can grow up going to Carolina Bible Camp.
Well, she brought us a lot of joy, and gave us the opportunity to love her, and she loved us back. And it's just, that's the thing about Carolina Bible Camp. We can gather around somebody and take care of them, and that was a special thing.
And that helped. I know she was 4, but that helped my family heal also. So last summer, my mom was able to come, and she's known about Carolina Bible Camp since we started going. And I think that was a little bit of a healing for her to see what it was all about, and how much we loved the people there, and how much the people there loved me, and even Violet and my kids. And so I think that was good for her as well.
Yeah. Well, thinking about, you being part of Carolina Bible Camp, you probably don't realize the important part you are, what you bring to it, and what the kids get from it. There's kids from pre-campers all the way up to seniors in high school or college kids that you have affected over the years. And you've been such a blessing to them. How long have you been going to Carolina Bible Camp?
So this would have been, I was trying to remember that exactly. This summer would have been my 8th or 9th consecutive year. Right. But back in 1990, right after Adrian and I got married, we came. He grew up going to Carolina Bible Camp, and he was serving as a youth intern at a church here in Greensboro. And so he was so excited. We get to take the kids to Carolina Bible Camp. And I know my story is a little bit like yours as well. So I was excited. I grew up going to summer camp too. But I came and I went to Carolina Bible Camp, and I was like, after the week was over, I was like, don't you ever ask me to go to that camp again, ever. And so it was not a good week. But then we moved back to North Carolina in 2002. And probably, let's see, I don't know. It would have been in the late 2000s, like 2008, 9, somewhere in that area, maybe. I don't know. Ellen was invited to go to Carolina Bible Camp, my oldest. And so I took her and dropped her off. And I didn't stay that year, but the next year I stayed. And so actually it would have been after 2010, I guess. But anyway, So that's how we started, and have loved it ever since.
Yeah. Well, I don't know your oldest daughter as well as I know your other two daughters. And, when like Megan was going to come back this year and be one of our staff members, and Abby was going to be a staff member as well. And for me, that's such a joy to have the kids that used to be campers and now staff members, and just their love to carry on what we love so much. They're going to have years to come to work and everything. And that's exciting to see that
Yes.
possibility.
Well, even my oldest daughter, Ellen, I know you don't know her, but very well, but she lives in Spring, Texas, and her husband's a youth minister, and she keeps trying to talk him into bringing the youth group to Carolina Bible Camp.
All right.
It's only a 17-and-a-half-hour drive.
Hey,
it shouldn't be that hard, right?
What are you committed to here? Come on.
Right, exactly. Why go to your camp? Come to our camp.
Oh,
I don't know if that'll ever I don't know that she'll ever be able to convince him, but that's okay.
Right. Well, since you went in 1990, so that was at Woodman of the World. So that was a totally different experience over there. I never went there to work. I went there to chase my wife there, so I remember a little bit about it. So you've experienced two of the camps. I know Adrian grew up going to a few other camps as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you think back just to your experience over these years and what camps meant to you, are there some favorite memories you'd like to share about Carolina Bible Camp?
Oh, wow. There's so many. I was thinking about this yesterday. And I was telling Adrian about it. So I would say I could pick 3, 4, 5, many different things, but I think one of the most memorable that has been talked about over the years is one of the things that I loved was being able to be a counselor and have my kids grow up. I always asked for cabin 6. Right. Not because they were the oldest kids, but I felt like I just liked that cabin.
Yeah.
So anyway, so as my girls grew up and were able to be in the cabin with me, that was something very memorable. But even more than just having them with me was having their friends and getting to know who they were friends with. And in particular, we always had this tradition in cabin 6. There were several girls, but Hannah Alfaro always brought her Sharpie markers. And the last night of camp, or the night before the last night of camp, maybe 2 nights before the end, the girls would come in my room and they would draw on the bottom of our feet with the Sharpie markers, and they were covered. Okay, well, and mind you, I'm a teacher, so we would have 7th week, and then like a week later, I was back at work. Well, Sharpie doesn't come off that easy. No. So everybody, there'd be people that would see the bottom of my feet a week or 2 later and they're like, what did you do to your feet? But it's just, I would have that on my feet, and it was a reminder. Yeah. You get in the shower and there'd be marker running down the drain. But that bonding time with the girls, and we knew every Thursday or Friday night, okay, it's time for us to, come in my room and we're going to color each other's feet. So I would say that's probably one of my most favorite memories. It's amazing how this place just captures your heart, and you meet new people each year. It's like when we first started working together, there was a newness there. We had to figure out who was who and what was what. And, it's just amazing how God puts everybody into that place to do the same job and to work cohesively. And, and it's beautiful. And, yes. Having folks like you just makes my life a lot easier. Well, you're easy to work with. Well, we get to spend a lot of time during the day with one another. We're up really early. We go to bed really late, and there's no tired like camp tired. I know, but still we still manage to smile, and there's a few tears shed in the evenings, when we have those late night meetings. And the special thing about that is, and I've seen you do it so many times, and that's where we talk about some of the kids that have some special needs or concerns that we need to take care of, and just be there for them. And how, I see you and many others, Melissa one, who just take those kids and just love them. And that's the special thing to see and to experience that.
So when you think back to those kids over the years that you've spent time with that have struggled when they got to camp, not fitting in, how did you help them?
Well, introduce them to other kids,
Uh-huh.
um, love on them, hug them, check in on them multiple times during the day. Um, they're looking those a lot of those kids are looking for one person
Uh-huh.
that they feel like they can find a connection with.
Right.
And you really want them to connect with other kids their age,
Right.
but sometimes that doesn't happen, and it's got to be an adult. And
Yeah.
they see you in the dining hall, they're out during the day, and they'll see you in the dining hall, and you just make eye connection, make sure that they're, how are you doing, that kind of thing. And I think that may be the biggest thing, is just letting them know you're there if they need you, and hugging them, loving them, and helping them to try to find other people they connect with.
Bribing them with ice cream always works for me.
That always works too, yes.
I don't know how many kids come up to me, Mr. Andy, you said you'd give me ice cream if I stayed another day. And I'm like, yes, go get some more ice cream.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, over the years, you've had experiences. There's been heartfelt experiences where you hurt for the kids, and you're overjoyed for the kids. When you see that kid put on Christ in baptism down there at the pool. How many times have we stood around that pool with 180 to 200 people around that pool and having 3 or 4 baptisms? That's worth all the sweat, all the tears, all the heartache,
Absolutely.
all the aggravation, or what have you, whatever problem you're having. It's worth it right then, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And then the singing that happens after those baptisms around that day.
That's why we do it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Well, looking back over the years, you've experienced a lot of the staff members and the campers themselves. Has there been one or multiples that have just stood out to you and really made an impression on you over the years?
Yes. So I could probably name 10, but I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to say the person that has stood out to me the most, and he has been there ever since I started going, and it's Pat McCormick.
Yes.
Just watching him, and he's always there. He doesn't have children there. He doesn't have grandchildren there, biological. But he's always happy, even times when he's not feeling well, and he's had some health struggles. And I look at him, and he probably doesn't know this. So if he watches this, I think he'll be shocked. But he really has been an inspiration to me over the years, because he keeps going, and he keeps going, and he keeps going. And there are times where I'm like, this year I wasn't able to go because of my job. But I'll be honest, there's been years where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go this year. I'm tired, but then I go. But he's in the back of my mind. But look at Pat. Pat goes, and Pat has fun, and he sings, and he connects with the kids through singing.
Have you ever seen a man take a rock and write something on a rock, and have multiple of them, and give them to the kids? And how many people he's impacted with those simple rock,
Yes. And I just think back over just the short time that I've been going. I don't know how many years he's been there, but how many children has he made a difference in their lives? And I believe his main purpose is just to teach them about God and to bring them to Christ. And it's through a simple rock, through a song, through his messages. He always has great lessons when he teaches. Yeah. And I really, really admire him. And I hope that I can not get too tired, to go. Or he just keeps going no matter what, through all of his struggles, through everything. He just keeps going.
Well,
and
you look at him. He works. I think it's 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7. So, I mean,
wow.
We're young, physically pretty good shape, and it's hard on us. And I do 2 weeks, the beginning and the last one, and it's still hard.
I only do 1, and it's hard. Yes.
Yeah, you have to admire Pat. He's a true blessing, true soldier of Christ.
Absolutely.
And
my kid, he's made an impact on my own children. There are many times throughout the year his name will come up in our home, in our conversations, and it's all good.
Yeah.
So he's made an impact in our lives for sure.
He's a true blessing. Now, this next question is going to be hard for you. Sum up
Okay.
Carolina Bible Camp in one word.
One word. Oh, refreshing, but that's not, I don't like that word. I mean, it is, it's refreshing. I like to turn into the drive and, you know, hit that gravel road. And I'm like, I can tune out the rest of the world for a whole week and not have to worry about anything outside of this fence or this, you know, these acres. Happy, joyful. It makes, it's like, people say it's like a little piece of heaven. And that's what I picture is,
Yeah.
you know, you're there with other Christians and you're there to worship God, and everybody's there for the same purpose. And just, to me, that's refreshing, I guess. That's not my favorite word, but
it works.
I'm going to use refreshing.
I think
It's a refreshment for the year. It's a, you know, it gives you a boost, kind of like your Wednesday night Bible studies at church, you know, that midweek pump you up kind of thing. This is my mid-year pump me up.
Well, I think Tim Pinkston, I don't know if you saw the video or interview with him. He was the guy that worked week 1 with us. When I asked him that question, he said, wow.
Wow.
He said, wow. You know, all those emotions, the feelings, the things that affect you, Carolina Bible Camp, you know, it puts everything back into perspective for 1 week, that you're able to enjoy the Christ-like atmosphere everywhere you go on campus. And that's beautiful.
Yep. And no matter how old you are, you know, we do it for the kids, but no matter how old you are, you need that as well. Mm-hmm. And it's so nice to be with other adults that are the same as you, in their beliefs and their, you know, faith and everything. But to see the kids and to watch the kids, it's just it's so inspirational, you know, that they want to be like that too.
Well, this is your opportunity to say something encouraging to all your fellow staff and your campers. What would you say to them to encourage them for next year?
Keep in touch with people from camp, because it's going to be, I think, a rough year for us having not been able to go to camp. But reach out to the people that you've been friends with over the years. Reach out to the counselors you've had, so that you can get that energy back for this second part of 2020, and sign up for next year. Sign up for winter camp. Sign up for, if we have winter camp, hopefully we'll have winter camp.
Hopefully.
Sign up for those things and get back to CBC as quickly as you can.
Well, my friend, you know, this 49 days of CBC is to celebrate camp, to remind us of the memories that we have and the fondness we have for Carolina Bible Camp. And you've been a great part of that. And you make camp what it is. Your heart, your love, your kindness. I could go on and on talking about how wonderful you are to camp.
You don't have to. That's good. We're good.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Please don't do it.
But I will say this. I will say that it's a true honor for me to get to work with you. I love you dearly. I appreciate you. And I can't wait till we get to work together again.
Amen. And we love you guys. Thank you, Andy.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you take care of yourself, and
thank you.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.